Hello Internet, it's me Josh, the Aging Gamer. So, let's talk about Marvel Comics. I loved reading Marvel Comics as a kid. I loved watching the Marvel animated TV shows. I collected those Marvel trading cards. I loved the Overpower game they had too, and I had so many awesome Marvel action figures. I love Marvel. And it still kind of blows my mind to think that there's this big, huge Marvel Cinematic Universe. Since 2008's Iron Man, there has been 30 Marvel films. 30! And then there's TV shows on top of that. It's crazy to think that almost every major Marvel character has been introduced into the MCU now. And with legal issues getting settled, we'll be seeing more. I've obsessed with the movie universe since it started, but geez, I'm definitely feeling that superhero movie fatigue. And unfortunately, there's a lot of MCU stuff that I just don't find that entertaining. But growing up with these characters, I can't help but at least be somewhat interested. I mean, there's been a lot of bad writing in the movies, but there's also been a lot of good ones. There's a lot of long-term storytelling, comic book Easter eggs, and overall epic moments that make it all worthwhile. So I can't help but get somewhat excited when a new movie is announced. I mean, there's always new characters being introduced and there's always some kind of hook. Like, how are they going to kill off T'Challa? And who will take the reins as the next Black Panther? What's going to happen in Quantumania that's supposed to kick off the events that leads to Secret Wars? How will the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie end? Oh god, they aren't going to kill Rocket, are they? He's my favorite MCU character. Oh god, they're really building this up. Please don't kill him. And is that Lila, his little otter girlfriend? Oh god, they're going to make this heartbreaking, aren't they? And you know what's kind of amazing is that with so many Marvel movies and TV shows out there, that the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe is just as cluttered and convoluted as the comics, which is actually pretty damn impressive. So I've been in a real Marvel mood lately, and I want to celebrate Marvel Comics. But I want to take a look at some games from the yesteryears of Marvel, not this Disney Marvel, the pre-Disney MCU Marvel. I want to do several videos based off of several games, based off of the era that I grew up in. So, where do we start? Well, I thought we'd go ahead and start with Marvel's most iconic, meanest, greenest superhero of them all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the Incredible Hulk. So, The Incredible Hulk, not to be confused with the Game Boy Advance or 2008 game with the same name, was released in 1994 for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. The versions are practically identical, but for this review I'll be playing the Sega Genesis version. It seems to run ever so slightly smoother, and also this was the version I played as a kid. I never owned or rented it, but instead it was something I played off the Sega channel, which is something awesome that I might talk about one of these days. So, this game stars, you guessed it, the Hulk. And we all know who the Hulk is, right? Mild-mannered scientist Bruce Banner gets hit with gamma rays, and now when he gets mad, he turns into an unstoppable beast, the Incredible Hulk. Roar! The plot of this game revolves around one of Hulk's arch-enemies, the Leader, as he tries to dominate the world. Well, we can't have that. Let's go get this motherfucker. And before we even start the first level of this game, I gotta say, visually, this is really impressive. As soon as you turn on the screen, we see a cool little screen of Hulk punching logos like a badass. The title screen even looks dynamic. And then when you start the game, you get a cool transformation screen. That's badass. So the game starts, and here we are, the Incredible Hulk, in his purple pants even. And again, the graphics look really good here. So, the controls are simple. D-pad to move, A to punch, B to jump, and C to pick up items. In this game, we get these Stormtrooper wannabe enemy robots all over. You can walk up to them and just beat the shit out of them. Punch them in the face, pick them up and toss them, or even give them a Mortal Kombat uppercut. This level is pretty straightforward. Go in and out of sewers and progress forward and collect items along the way, like this pill. Quickly into the game we pass by this section here, and that's kinda small for us, isn't it? The Incredible Hulk can't fit, but by transforming back into Bruce Banner we'll be able to. How do we turn back into Bruce Banner? Well, there's two ways. One, by getting your ass kicked to nearly death. Or, you can take that pill we collected earlier. By pressing start and C, we'll transform back into human form, which now allows us to crawl around. A machine gun? Oh shit, I guess we'll continue through this level as Banner. If you get hit again, you'll turn back into the Incredible Hulk, but here's a neat little trick. Just crouch. I'm able to just bypass everyone because these idiots can only shoot from one position. I'm able to just breeze through a whole lot of this level. I'm invincible! Well, at least up until this point where I have a mid-level boss fight with the supervillain known as Abomination. I have to fight him to continue, and as Bruce Banner, I can't do anything to him. So let's transform back and kick this fool's ass. I trap him in the corner and squash him. We'll escape the sewers and we'll travel through the city a bit more. And at the end, we reach the boss of this level, the one and only Rhino. So just like every other video game that Rhino has been in, he just runs from one end of the screen to the other. To defeat him, punch him when he gets to you, and jump out of the way. Haha, take that, Rhino, you big bitch! We get a cutscene showing Rhino defeated, and then Hulk jumps from the city all the way to the jungle? Jesus! So we're in some ruins, and we're fighting some of these soldier dudes that turn to stone. They fight just like the white robots from the first level, so you should be pretty familiar with how to fight them. I find a lot of health items pretty quickly, so I guess this is a good time to talk about the hulking up system. So this is the health bar. When we're down to dark green, we're almost defeated and we turn back to Bruce Banner. When it's just in the regular green, we're just a regular old Hulk. Once your health bar reaches the lighter color green, we turn into Super Hulk. You're pretty much the same, but you can now perform a few extra attacks, like the Thunderclap, or doing a double punch instead of a single punch. Now, by only collecting this item here, you'll reach Hulk Out mode. In Hulk Out mode, the white in your health bar will slowly drain until you're Super Hulk again. But in the meantime, you are super strong. You move faster, hit harder, and can even do a jumping stomp attack. Take advantage of this power up and try to move through the level as fast as you can. Back to this level though, we'll see some statues of this dude, who is the Marvel character Tyrannus. Guess we know who the boss of this level is. We go through a lot of level section where we're just fighting enemies and dodging traps. There's one part over here where you have to punch these face statues in a certain order to pass. It's trial and error though. Look at this cheap death here. Ugh. We'll eventually find Abomination again. A mid-level boss fight with him is a reoccurring theme throughout every level. Beat him and continue. We go through more and more of what feels like level sections I've already gone through, but eventually we will reach Tyrannus. He flies around the stage and try to punch him when you can. He'll eventually drop stones down on you, but Hulk can pick those up and bash his face in. Once Tyrannus' health is down to 0, we win! We get a short cutscene and we move into the next level, which is the leader's lab. Looks like we're back to fighting these white robots again. And it's at this point that I just kinda get bored with the game. I mean, the action doesn't stop, but it's just very repetitive. I'm the freaking Hulk. I thought I'd be doing more smashing and bashing, but I'm just going through a basic platformer. And what's annoying is that this game reuses a lot of enemies and enemy AI patterns. All the enemies shoot you rather quickly, with some of them you're not even able to see their projectiles, so all you're doing is jumping up and down to avoid getting hit, and you're bashing enemies when you get close. Saying this out loud, I mean, yeah, that's how most video games work. You jump to avoid being damaged, but in this game, it feels like this is all I'm doing. The levels are long, the enemies are the same, and nothing happens to freshen up the gameplay at any point. The only thing I look forward to is the boss at the end. Speaking of which, back to this stage, the leader's lab, we avoid gunfire and white robot dudes, have another fight with Abomination, and then we have a real boss fight with Absorbing Man. He's one of the easier bosses. He swings his ball and chain, and when it's slow enough, you can get a good punch in. Deplete his health bar and he'll run off and absorb some more energy. He does this a few times, but just keep to the strategy and he'll be defeated. Hulk is then transported to the next level that, according to the game manual, is the leader's interior? Ew. This has final level feels to it, but it's not. In this stage, there's switches to hit and sharp things to avoid. Despite the visual change in the level's design, this is nothing we haven't already dealt with in this game. Like, here's Abomination again. Why is Abomination inside the leader? Ugh, do I even want to know? The real boss of this stage is a giant brain. Leader's brain? A different brain? I don't know, but this might actually be the easiest boss. Just smash it quickly! So you would think destroying the leader's brain would be the end of the game, but we still got one more level to go. And it looks just like the third level, except this time there's elevators and flying robot enemies. I wish I had more to say about this stage, but we've practically seen it already. Make it to the end and here he is, the leader. This is it, the final fight. Just look at him laughing, you piece of shit. Wow, so that's it? That was the final fight of the game? What was that even? So I suppose that was actually the easiest boss fight in the game. So we get our final cutscene. The leader scoffs at the might of the Incredible Hulk, further angering the already enraged Green Behemoth. What? Somehow this ending got even worse. I got the bogus ending. So apparently the ending changes depending on what difficulty you play on. If you play on normal mode, Hulk escapes, but so does the leader. If you play on arcade mode, leader tries to escape, but Hulk stops him and does some dynamic superhero posing. I just started this game on whatever the default difficulty setting was, which happened to be easy mode. I mean, after playing this game all the way through, I feel like I can take the difficulty bump, but after playing this game all the way through, I don't really want to play it again. Well, if it isn't obvious already, I'm not too crazy about this game. I'm not gonna say the game is bad, but it's very unoriginal and feels repetitive, which is a shame because I love every other aspect about the game. Visually, it looks fantastic. The opening cutscenes look great, and the animations during gameplay are beautiful. I mean, just look at Hulk whenever he transforms. That's awesome looking. The music in this game is great too. It's got some jazzy, funky beats. It might not fit the tone of every level, but I like it regardless. But the problem is, this game is all presentation. When we get to the core of the game, it's kind of unimaginative for a character such as the Hulk. The gameplay, while not broken, just doesn't do anything for me. Also, having that whole hulking system sounds good on paper, but I never found it too useful as I end up still having to use the same fighting strategies against the basic enemies. Besides the Hulk, the only real shining moments are the bosses, and I think I look forward to those because that means the level's over. So, all in all, if you're a Hulk fan, maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of this. Otherwise, it's unfortunately nothing to really get excited about. So man, what a hell of a letdown to start this Marvel celebration with. Well, what game should I look at next? Well, to nerd out just a little bit more, I have a bunch of Marvel trading cards right here, all featuring characters that have games from the yesteryears. We can go ahead and take Hulk out of the equation, and let's go ahead and shuffle these up and see who we get next. It's Iron Man! Alright, well I will see you guys on the next video when we take a look at a game featuring the invincible Iron Man. I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all on that next video. Take care.